Okay, we still have a few more people trickling in, it looks like. Thank you everyone so far who's been joining us. We're excited to talk to everyone tonight. I'm Kelly Durkin. I'm the manager of the Blairstown branch of the Warren County Library. And tonight we have Holly Mackey, Warren County Clerk, and William Duffy, the election administrator, here to answer questions and walk us through the process. Okay, looks like we have a fair number of people in here, so are you comfortable getting started?
Sure.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Okay, so essentially this year's election is unlike anything any of us have ever gone through before. Governor Murphy's Executive Order number 177 declared that this be a universal vote by mail election, which essentially means that every single active registered voter in the Warren County was sent a ballot in the mail or is in the process of being sent a ballot in the mail. It's called a mail-in vote, mail-in ballot. That is your vote for this year's election. So we strongly encourage you to fill that one out and get it back to us. There's a number of ways to get it back to us, which we'll get to in a minute. But essentially, we have no choice in this. It was the governor's executive order. My office, Bill's office, our staff, we're all working crazy hours trying to facilitate to make sure all of you guys can get your ballot in, do it correctly, get the process, be comfortable with the process. And that's part of the reason why we're here tonight, is to answer questions. You know, we live it every day, so sometimes we forget that most people don't realize how it happens until you change it up, and nobody really likes change a whole lot. So that's why we've been trying to do the education and questions and answers and answering the phone. And we're really here for you guys, for everybody to, like I said, get the process so that it's as comfortable. You guys have as much confidence as possible in the system, because we're certainly doing everything we can to make it happen for you guys. So, Bill.
You're doing well with it. Yeah. It's going to be an all-paper election because the governor ordered that. We're working diligently. We started receiving mail-in ballots back as soon as they hit. So we're going through them, we're processing them as quickly as we possibly can. At the same time, we're also processing registrations, because registration doesn't close until October 13th, which is next Tuesday. The state decided, because it's a presidential year and nobody has anything to do, that they would put the online registration into effect. And I don't think anybody thought about how well used it would be. We continually have over 1,000 registrations on the online registration, along with the 1,000 registrations that we get from motor vehicle on an ongoing basis, plus the paper registrations that we've been doing. So it's been stressful for us, and we've been working very hard to get through it all. One big question that came up, Holly, was from a lot of people, is what's the difference between a mail-in ballot and an absentee ballot?
Okay, that is one of our number one questions. Essentially in New Jersey, the two of them are exactly the same thing. You are talking about the same animal, if you will. The technical definition, an absentee ballot requires you to provide a reason why you are not going to be available to vote on election day. A mail-in ballot is a paper ballot that is mailed to you for no reason given other than you apply for it in a normal, air quoting, normal year. So in, I believe it was 2009, New Jersey changed the process, and it went from absentee, where you needed a reason to be away, to anybody could request a ballot to be mailed to them ahead of the election for any reason. So in the state of New Jersey, absentee and vote by mail, mail-in ballot are exactly the same thing. So getting that across, because again, you have nationwide media, and different things mean different things in different places. But in New Jersey, an absentee ballot and a vote by mail ballot, mail-in ballot are the same thing. What this election is considered a universal vote by mail election. And that means that regardless of whether you request one or not, in a normal year, again, air quoting, in a normal year, you have to request to my office, send a request in for me to mail you a ballot, and I will mail one out to you. This year, we just mailed them out as per executive order to every active registered voter. So that's the difference. So absentee ballot actually doesn't exist in New Jersey. It's a mail-in ballot and then a universal mail-in election. So that's been a little bit confusing for people. But essentially, you're talking about the same thing. It's a paper ballot, and that's what we have to use. On election day, there will be a polling place per municipality, at least one. Some municipalities have several, couple, because of the size of the towns. But each municipality will have a polling location where you can go and vote in person. However, there are no voting machines, and we can't stress that enough. There will not be a voting machine available for you to vote on. You will be, if you show up on election day empty-handed, we will give you, your poll workers will give you a paper provisional ballot. And what a provisional ballot, every election has provisional ballots because of the mail-in voting program. And essentially it's a safeguard to make sure that a dishonest voter didn't drop their ballot in the mail on their way to the polling location and then try to vote on the machine. So in a normal year where there are options between voting on a machine or voting on paper, the poll book will have that you're a mail-in voter. So the poll worker will say, I'm sorry, but you can't vote on the machine. We'll give you a paper provisional ballot. That is investigated after the election by the election board to make sure that you haven't turned in 2 votes. And after the closeout date that we can accept mail-in ballots goes, as long as you haven't previously returned a ballot, then your provisional ballot is counted. But it's not counted until after close of vote by mail acceptance. And for this year, we can accept mail-in ballots a week after the election. As long as they're postmarked on election day, the election board can receive them a full week later. So because of that, we have to wait a solid 7 days minimum. So those provisional ballots on election day will not even begin to be counted until 8 days after the election. And most people don't realize that. So that's what we've been trying to tell people. If you take the ballot that we mailed you, your mail-in ballot, to your polling location, if that's what you're comfortable with, you can take it to your polling place on election day and hand it to a poll worker. You'll fill out a form. Bill knows more about that. He'll get to that in a second. You'll fill out a form. You'll hand your ballot to a poll worker, and that ballot is still considered a mail-in ballot, and we will start processing them the day after the election, whereas the provisional ballots are a full 8 days after the election. So you can certainly go and you can vote provisionally. We just want to make sure you're fully aware of the whole process that entails.
The one part of the provisional ballot that you should understand is that the form that you have to fill out is basically a voter registration form.
Right.
On average, it takes about 20 minutes to complete a provisional ballot. If you stay home, or if you at home complete your mail-in ballot, you may bring your mail-in ballot and only your mail-in ballot to the polling place. It should not take you 20 minutes to sign your name and hand the ballot in. And that's really all it's going to be, is signing and printing your name and handing it in. So if you're going to go to the polls, we strongly urge you to take your mail-in ballot with you as opposed to using the provisional ballots.
Yes. That is really a message that we're trying to get out.
Yeah.
You certainly have the right to vote provisionally on election day, but there will be no voting machines. It's a completely different kind of election this year because of Governor Murphy's executive order.
As far as now, Holly has sent out 72,000.
153 billion. No, approximately 72,000 have gone out. I have another 2,000 that will be going out probably Monday. To anybody out there who's made registration changes within the last month, you're in wave 2 because the system had to catch up to you guys. So that's approximately 2,100 voters. My office is actively processing your ballots because we have to put them all together by hand. So we are actively processing those ballots, and my goal is to have them out Monday, well, not Monday because it's a holiday, so Tuesday. They'll be going out in the mail on Tuesday. And then there'll be a third wave after registration closes and the Board of Elections finishes up getting all the registrations in, and they will probably go out the following week. But essentially to date, 72,000 plus ballots with another 2,000 on the way.
Right.
Yes.
Now, they're all coming back to the Board of Elections.
Right.
They're coming back via mail. They're coming back via emails. Military and overseas voters can email the vote to us. We have 11 drop boxes throughout the county. If you go to the warrencountyvotes.com, you can see a list of where the drop boxes are. And voters are coming to both the clerk's office and my office and hand delivering their ballots. All are valid ways of getting the ballots to us. Once they're delivered to us, we have to timestamp them. We then have to sort them by municipality and this election district. And you're allowed to bring in someone else's ballot. If they're not able to bring it, you can bring your spouses, you can bring your children, you can bring your neighbors, but you're limited to only 3. You cannot bring more than 3 other voters' ballots with you. When you come to the office, either the clerk's office or the election board office, you have to fill out a log, which is basically what your name is, signing it, where you're from. And you do have to show ID at the clerk's office or the Board of Elections. You can take it to a drop box and put it in. You can take it to the post office and put it in. And again, this year, you can take it to the polling site on election day, your assigned polling site. On election day, you cannot bring anybody else's in. You can only bring yours. Okay. Once we get through it, we then have to receive it into the statewide voter registration system. That says that your ballot's here. I don't know if anybody has gone out to the New Jersey Division of Elections website. They have a Track My Ballot button on there, and you can track your ballot to see if it's been sent, if it's been received. And that's really all you're going to see on there is sent and received until after the election. You won't see that it was counted or accepted until after the election, because we have to do the rejection, the rejected ones first before we can do all the accepted. Then once we have them into the system, we then go through each and every one of them and check signatures. Now, I'm sure some of you have heard about the cure letter that we are now sending out. If your signature does not match, or if you didn't sign the certificate that is needed to be signed, you have to, you can get a letter, sign the letter, return it to the Board of Elections, and your vote will count. If that doesn't happen, your vote will not count. There are other things your ballot, other reasons your ballot will not count. If you do not include the certificate at all, your ballot will not count. We had 2 people in the primary election, did not put the ballots in an envelope at all, just dropped the ballot into the drop box. I have no idea who that was. I can't give them credit for voting. I'm not even assured they were valid voters. I can't count that. When you do the mail-in ballot, you have to complete the certificate. You have to put the ballot inside the envelope and the certificate has to remain attached. And then you put it in the outer envelope and mail it to us. Go ahead, Holly.
I'm going to plug our website real quick. It's on the screen there. It says warrencountyvotes.com. There's a video of me of filling out the ballot and putting the certificate, signing the certificate, and the whole process that you need to do it correctly. So at warrencountyvotes.com, there is a video. Our drop boxes are there, polling locations are there. There's all kinds of good information. The actual executive order is there. It's all there. So go ahead, Bill.
Okay. When we are checking signatures, a person checks the signature. If it looks good, it moves through the process. If it doesn't look good, the Board of Elections, there are 4 members to the Board of Elections. I have 4 bosses, 2 Democrats and 2 Republicans. There is a Democrat and Republican there at that process all the time. If there is a question about the signature, both the Democrat and Republican look at it. If they agree whether it's good or bad, it goes through whatever situation it goes into. If they don't agree, the other 2 board members get involved. And we had an interesting thing in the primary where 2 board members thought the signature was good, 2 board members thought the signature was bad. It had to go to a judge. The interesting part was the 2 board members that thought it was good, one was a Democrat, one was a Republican, and the 2 that thought it was bad, one was a Democrat, one was a Republican. So it didn't go party lines. The board understands we're trying to make sure that everybody's vote counts that deserves a vote. Okay.
And as far as signature is concerned, I know a bunch of phone calls that we've gotten and questions is, I don't remember if I signed with my middle initial. I don't remember if I used my middle name. It's not really the content of your signature per se, it's the style. So if my registration is officially Holly Patterson Mackey, and my original, I signed it Holly Patterson Mackey, but now I just signed Holly Mackey. As long as the Holly and the Mackey look alike, it's going to be accepted. They're not going to reject because you forget a middle initial. It's the style that we can tell that you really are the signer and the voter rather than the content. If you forget a junior, if you add a junior, anything like that, it's the style of your signature that counts.
Okay. And then they are stored in a secure location.
Which we are not divulging.
No, we're not divulging. And the drop boxes, this is important, I think, for everyone to know. The drop boxes are picked up daily by sheriff's officers. 2 sheriff's officers go out to the ballot boxes and are picking up, and they are transporting the ballots from the post office to my office, from the drop boxes to my office, and from my office to where we are processing the ballots. And I appreciate the sheriff for doing that for us this year. And we do that. You can, as soon as you got your mail-in ballot, you could mail it back. You could bring it to the office, put it in the drop box. The drop boxes have been very popular. That's where we're getting most of the ballots currently, is from the drop boxes. Okay. Counting the ballots. This year, we are allowed to start counting the ballots 10 days before the election, which will be October 24th. Before this, we could not start counting the ballots until midnight on election day. If we started that this year, we might know who the president would be on Valentine's Day next year. Mm-hmm. We can start counting. We're not going to start counting. We're going to start prepping to count on October 24th. As far as counting is concerned, we have 2 scanners. The ballots that went out can be scanned, and the little dots that you're filling in get counted by the scanners. And that's how we count. And we're going to do them in batches of 200 and put them through. I'm going to run one machine. Another person in my office will run a machine. Again, there'll be a Democrat and a Republican commissioner with us whenever we're doing that, so that we can ensure that nothing is happening, it's secure, it's safe, and everybody's vote is counting. We're going to be counting, as Holly said, we can get ballots up until 14, or I guess the 10th of November.
Mm-hmm.
We'll still be counting the provisionals. The Board of Elections has to certify the mail-in ballots to the county clerk by the 20th of November. And then the county clerk certifies the election by the 23rd?
Yes, Monday the 23rd, I have to certify the election to the state.
And we're gonna do our best to get the counting done as quickly as possible. One thing you're not going to see beforehand, it's what's that? The crime.
Felony.
A felony to produce a report from that county before 8 p.m. on election night. Our vendor who built the machines, the scanners, has taken away our ability to run reports until that time. So you're not going to see any reports coming out beforehand. On election night, the numbers that you see, I don't know how much they're going to mean to you, because it depends on what percentage of the vote that we have counted.
But we will be working night and day and long hours to make it, again, because we only have about 2 weeks after the election to get everything counted, checked, double checked. And we do, there's spreadsheets, we know how many ballots were received. So we know how many ballots and then rejected for whatever reason. And so we know how many ballots that need to go through the scanner, and then the batches are counted, and we track it all. It's my job to make sure that every single correctly cast ballot is counted. So there's checks, there's balances, there's spreadsheets, numbers in, numbers out. And again, as you can imagine, in a normal year, it's crazy, but with an all paper, some human being has to touch every single one of those ballots and every single one of those pieces of paper multiple times to make it happen. So we will be working as diligently, but we are not going to sacrifice accuracy for speed. So, if you have a close race, if you have a runaway race, you're going to know relatively soon in the process, because we will have potentially up to 10 days worth of scanned results to do a report at the end on election day, depending on when we start. We're going to be prepping right away, and depending on when we start scanning, we'll have that number of results available. But if it's a close local race or a school board race, you're not going to know until after provisional ballots, and that's a week and a half to 2 weeks. I have to have the numbers final and set and official by November 23rd. That's the law. Of course, we'll try to do it a little bit sooner, but if it's a close race and depending on turnout, which we're hoping is high, we always hope that there's a high turnout. So, it just kind of depends on what we see, and we have no idea, because, us as well as you have never experienced an election like this.
Okay. Election day, as Holly stated before, there are going to be polling sites available. Usually you get a sample ballot. There will be a notice going out that will tell you your assigned polling site. Again, it's in your municipality. We have been able to get some schools to allow us to come in this year, and for social distancing and that, because of those reasons, we've gone to the schools and asked to use them because they'll be better able to handle us. So look for that. And again, on warrencountyvotes.com, there's a list of where the polling sites are. But on election day, the polls will be open from 6 a.m. to 8 p.m. again, it's all paper. We are this year allowed to accept mail-in ballot votes. Normally, in a normal year, we do not. This year, we will. If you do not come in with your own ballot, your own mail-in ballot, you're going to have to vote provisionally. Again, that takes about 20 minutes to complete. APM, we don't shut everybody off. If there's someone in line waiting to vote, of course, they'll get to vote. But we will have someone at that end, so and we don't continually have people voting. The other thing that happens at 8 p.m. on election day is the drop boxes are locked. So they will not accept any more ballots into the drop boxes. So election day is going to be very different. We plan on having about 8 poll workers, someone to greet you to make sure you're in the correct spot. We are going to have hand sanitizers, masks available if you didn't bring a mask and desire one. 2 lines, 1 for the provisional ballots, 1 to drop off your mail-in ballots. Hoping the mail-in ballot one keeps everybody moving. Yeah. But we will be busy. We've been ordered on election day, and I don't know whether we'll do this other day. We plan on doing close to this other days, but we have to count ballots until 11 o'clock on election night. And then start up at 9 o'clock every day thereafter. We have to be started until we get them completed. So.
Now on election day too, you can come into my office in Belvedere and vote in person as well. It's again a mail-in ballot that we would issue. You can either bring in the one you received, or if some reason your registration changed really late, or you realize on November 1st that you lost your ballot, you were going to bring it, you can come into my office. It's too late at that point for me to mail you a new one, but you can come into my office and pick up a new one. You can bring in, you can vote in person, and that's on election day as well, all day. So essentially I'm an additional polling location, except my polling location will have mail-in ballots, not provisional ballots. So that is an option for you on election day if you need to use it. So.
Okay.
You ready for questions, Bill?
Yeah, we're ready for questions.
All right. I think you're muted, Cal.
There we go. So we had some questions come in beforehand, so we'll get to those first. I'm just going through those. I think a bunch of them have already been answered. But again, who is going to be counting and how are your votes going to be counted by the election board? So
the election board's going to count the mail-in ballots. We also count the provisional ballots. They are going through a scanner. And again, there's a Democrat and Republican commissioner with me or my staff member at all times when counting is occurring.
And then I oversee the process as well because I'm ultimately responsible for the final numbers.
excellent.
I have a couple here as well. Someone asked where the drop boxes are, and I gave them the website
Perfect.
for that information.
Thank you.
We have a question about what is the safest option to ensure your vote is counted?
And both Bill and I are smiling because we get that one a lot. There really is no wrong answer to that. You get the ballot to us, we will, and it goes through the signature check process and it's verified, it will be counted. And if for some reason the signature fails, you'll get a cure letter, you fill out the cure letter and return it, and your ballot will be counted. So it just depends on your personal comfort level. Certainly the mail, we're not even going to go there, but we are receiving a lot of ballots by mail. So we are getting ballots in every day. The Postal Service is successfully delivering ballots to us. The drop boxes, they do get, as Bill said, they get picked up once a day by sheriff's officers. You can bring them in person to me and Bill, any day right up to and including election day until 8 p.m. Or you can bring them to your poll worker and hand them in on election day. But you get them to us, and as long as you've correctly done it and your signature matches, and again, even if your signature doesn't match, there's an opportunity to cure that, your ballot will be counted.
The one thing
Someone asked what your hours were? What the hours are that your offices are open?
8 to 4:30.
Same here, 8 to 4:30. However, I just verified with the county today, my office will be open for in-person and early voting Saturday, October 24th from 9 to 3, Sunday the 25th from 10 to 3, Saturday the 30th from 9 till 3, and Sunday the 1st from 10 till 3. So my office will have weekends hours for the 2 weekends leading up to the election to either come in and hand in your ballot or to come and get a duplicate ballot or vote in person. On paper, no machines.
A couple of things I want to bring up about drop boxes is where they are located. They're 250 pounds a piece. They are bolted into cement slabs. They are under video surveillance 24 hours a day, every day. They're usually at a municipal building. And the only one that's not at the municipal building is the one in Phillipsburg, which is at the Armory. But they are all under video surveillance all the time.
So they are secure.
And they are secure. So
There were a couple comments. Someone said just moved to the area a couple months ago, and you guys are doing a great job getting information out.
thank you.
And there was another nice comment. Thank you for your due diligence and the extra process to have you've done to make sure there's an integrity of the process. One person has asked about a drop box in Liberty Township. She didn't see one there.
No, there's not one in Liberty Township. I'm trying to think where the closest one to Liberty is.
I looked at
there's one
probably-
in Belvedere.
Yep.
at the
Belvedere,
municipal
Hope.
building.
Mhm.
And there's one in Mansfield. I don't know. Depends on the part of Liberty. But no, not every municipality we have 11 throughout the county, and there are 22 towns. So.
And again, the locations are on warrencountyvotes.com.
Question, is there a recommended way to seal the ballot in an envelope? Will it be accepted with a sticker seal?
Yes, we accept it with a sticker seal. I suggest you seal it and then put the sticker on, but we don't have any complaints about a sticker seal now.
A question, what's to stop the scandal of post office worker putting ballots in the dumpster like the incident in West Orange?
We have no control over that. You know, in any industry, you're going to have, sorry, I'm a Mackey, the bad apples. So we can't control that. In that case, it was the ballots on their way out, not on their way back. So that makes it still horrible, but marginally less horrible because they were able to recoup them and make sure that the voters got them. Again, the Track My Ballot feature that the state, and that website, we don't have it up, but it's vote.nj.gov. And that's where you go and you can do Track My Ballot. If you go over to Am I Registered first and you put in your name, it'll give you your voter ID number. And then you use that voter ID number to set up your Track My Ballot. It'll show you then that your ballot has been mailed the date we mailed you the ballot. And then it'll also, once it's been received by the election board, it'll show received. Now, there's another function on there that says accepted, rejected, all this other stuff. That really doesn't happen until after the election to update that. Because again, as you can imagine, some human being Bill has to handle all of these ballots. So, but at least you'll know if it says accepted that we received it. And then again, as soon as you get your ballot into us, keep your eye out for the cure letter. As soon as Bill gets me a copy of it, and the envelope that it's going, we will post a picture of that on the website and on our Facebook. The Warren County Clerk has a Facebook page that you can like, and we're sending a lot of information out through that as well. As soon as we see what he's sending out, we'll take a picture of it and we'll post it so that you guys know what to keep an eye out, because this time of year, of course, you're getting a lot of election mail, a lot of election junk. That's not junk. So anything from Warren County Board of Elections on the envelope, Warren County Board of Elections, open it up. If it's a cure letter, fill it out and get it back to us. And the cure letter you can send back, you can what, Bill? Fax it, email it, deliver it in person, snail mail it. You'd probably turn it into a paper airplane and throw it into Bill's window, and we would accept it. So that's really the critical piece with this whole signature verification, because when you vote in person and you're signing a poll book, you see your signature. So subconsciously or not, you're signing like that is. And there's a very good likelihood, if you vote regularly, that you know your poll workers and your poll workers know you. But now that we're blanket mailing out and expect you to sign your certification envelope, how you signed, I know my signature's changed over the years. It's looked at pretty hard, and if we reject it, it's because it's really, really different. And that's just for your protection. I mean, we don't want to, let's say you have a crazy neighbor and they stole your ballot out of your mailbox. You didn't even know it came yet because you work all day in the crazy neighbor's home. They go to your mailbox because they know it came. They take your ballot, they vote it, they sign your certification envelope, they send it in. Well, now when we're comparing, that's what protects your vote, because it's not going to match. So it's going to get rejected. And that's really why. It's not any subversive reason. It's just to protect you. So and again, DMV trackpad signatures are a nightmare. That's probably where number one non-comparing that I think Bill would agree that you see signature matching. And of course, then over years. So that's why we do it. And again, on Warren County Votes, there's more on signature verification. So you can read up about it a little bit more, but it's to protect you. Watch out for the cure letter afterwards, just in case. But if you turned in your ballot and you didn't get a cure letter, there's a very, very, very good chance that your ballot was accepted and that we've opened it and that we counted it.
I have a question. Someone asked, their daughter's in New York and received her ballot. Should she bring it back to New Jersey, or can she mail it from New York?
Oh, she can mail it from anywhere. It's postage paid. So yeah, she can just pop it in the mail from anywhere. If she was in college in, let's say, Rutgers in New Brunswick, what she couldn't do is drop it in one of those county drop boxes. If you're going to drop it in a drop box, it has to be a Warren County drop box. But as far as postal, she can mail it from anywhere. It's postage paid.
Question was that, will there be any police at the polling locations?
God help us if there is, because that means there's a
we're not going to have police stationed at the polling locations. The emergency management from Warren County has contacted all of the police authorities within Warren County and provided them with the polling sites so that they know if they get a call from one of the sites that they need to get out there as quickly as possible. We're hoping that our voters continue to behave as they have in the past, and we have not needed to have the police at the polling sites.
Again, another question, how are the drop boxes being safeguarded?
Again, they're under surveillance 24/7. They are bolted into cement pads, and the sheriff's officers are picking them up, the ballots up daily to ensure that there's no chance of anything getting tampered with.
We did have a question about what it means on the outside of the envelope, what the bearer means.
That's a
Oh,
top one too.
the bear, I brought up before that you could bring in your spouses, you bring in your child. The person who brings that in is considered legal terms a bearer.
Mm.
And the bearer should sign the outside of that envelope. On the left-hand side, it's sideways. They should sign that in front of the voter. And then take it to our offices or take it to the drop box. And that gives the voter the confidence, the chain of custody, that it went from the voter to the bearer to our office.
And you as the voter, you do not have to sign your own bearer box. You know, it's only if you're handling somebody else's. And it's important to note that no candidate on any ballot can be a bearer. So if you're running for office and you want to bring yours and your husband's in, you can't do that. He can bring yours, but you can't bring his. So no candidate can be a bearer for any ballot.
And again, there is the limit of 3.
Right, 3 plus you.
So when my son and my daughter and my wife and I all have our mail-in ballots, I'm capable of bringing in theirs plus mine. But if one of my other daughters lived at home, somebody would have had to mail it.
Someone asked, do you still need volunteers for poll workers?
We're always taking applications for poll workers. We may have, I'm not sure off the top of my head. Last I heard that we had enough people, but people become ill, things happen in people's lives. It's always good to have additional people available if we need them. We do pay $200 for the day.
Woo!
Throw that out. Of course, your day starts at 5:15 in the morning and ends around 9 p.m.
But you're doing your civic duty. So it's $200 plus a good feeling at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Very tired, good feeling.
Someone asked what the daily pickup time for the sheriffs to pick up the ballots is.
Varies.
It varies. It depends on what the sheriff's office is doing that day. We do get, it ranges, they come in from like 11 o'clock in the morning until about 2:30, 3 o'clock in the afternoon. They drop off. So depends on what's happening there also. And I don't think we'd want to set time.
No.
Just for security purposes.
Right.
Okay, I had one question, and a lot of this has been addressed throughout it, but they just wanted to know, how can we be sure that our vote is counted? When voting in person, we can see a printout of our selections, and then we certify our vote. How can we be sure that that's being counted this time around?
Well, I guess it just comes down to trust. I know that's you know, kind of a cheesy answer, if you will, but you need to know that nobody cares more, and I'm not just saying this, I really am not. Nobody cares more about your right to vote than we do. It is our job to make sure that this election goes off smooth, that you guys can trust the results, that, you know, it's just confidence in the election. And you're right, when you're voting in person, you can see your printout, you know your vote is cast. Again, it's just going to have to come down to some level of trust to know, and with the Track My Ballot, you can know that we received it. It is overseen, as Bill has said, by both a Democratic and a Republican at all times. So you don't have a balance of power one way or the other, if you will. So all of us, and including both our Dem and Reps commissioners, we really, it's our job to do it well. And we all take it very, very seriously, because if it doesn't go well, who's in the news? Me. You know, if it doesn't go well, who gets nailed? Me. If it doesn't go well, who gets fired? Bill. If it doesn't go well, who doesn't get reelected in a couple of years? Me. So it, and beyond all that, if you're not going to do a job right, then don't do it. So all I can tell you is, at least in Warren County, we will do it. We will do it well, and we will do it to the best of our ability. And so a little bit of it is trust.
And also, the program that creates the ballot for the machines is the same program that creates the mail-in ballots and the provisional ballots.
Right.
They're not different programs. They're all the same program, developing the same thing. The other thing, and it doesn't get enough notice when that it should, after the election, after Holly certifies it on the 23rd of November, we have until December 4th, and we have to run an audit of 2% of the votes. And we have to pull out batches of 200 ballots, 2% of the vote, and sit and hand count those ballots. Now, there's a give and take there, because the way people fill out ovals, you know, if you do a check mark instead of filling the oval in, it may have not been picked up. But for the most part, the last couple times we've done it, they have been right on. And we go with that audit to make us feel also, you know, give us the feeling that things are going correctly. And this year, because it's a mail-in ballot, I mean, the entire state of New Jersey is going to be doing these audits. So I think there'll be more in the news than they have in the past, because it's only been a couple counties that have had to do it in the past because of the paper certifying the vote on the machines.
I don't have any more questions that have come in. Kelly?
Nope. Me neither. Good questions, though. They were.
Yeah. Well, I'd like to thank the library for presenting this Zoom meeting for us. I hope people got something out of it.
And again, the website has a lot of really good information. My staff is here. Well, not here. I'm at home right now, but my staff is in the office. We are there Monday through Friday, 8 to 4:30. Our phone numbers on the website to reach us. We're here to help. You know, the ladies, my staff is awesome, amazing. They've been doing a great job. I couldn't do it without them. Really phenomenal job. And if you can't get through, keep trying, because the phones are ringing off the hook. You can shoot me an email. I believe that's on the website too. I'm answering emails every morning. So whatever we can do to help you facilitate voting in this election, that's what we're here for. So.
Just a couple comments back. Some people have said, thank you for the information. Thank you. It makes me feel a lot better. Good. So I think you did your job well.
Good.
Thank you.
All right.
We are recording this, so we will make this available as soon as we can.
Okay.
And off our website, and I'll be sending it, of course, to you, Holly, and you, Bill. So.
Yeah, we can post it on the website and on our Facebook page.
Okay.
Cool.
Thank you, everyone.
Right.
All right.
Thank you so much.
Good.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Where's Lee? There.